Hey, this is Tim, TTT Homestead in Georgia. I'm doing another video just to update. A couple weeks ago I did a video. Seemed to get pretty good response from family and friends. So this is the red, white, and blue section. I know that's burgundy. You don't have to correct me on the color, but some of these flowers are test flowers, and I didn't know. The front part are smaller pansies, some type of miniature pansies that I had seed for, and they have really cool. Somebody told me it looked like a face, and I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, so these are mixed colors, literally mixed. Each flower has different colors in it. So, and some of these are seeded, and some of them I got in a 6-pack from like Lowe's for half price because they were half dead. You know, I'll put a picture of what they looked like when I first got them. This is supposed to be the white. I did end up with the yellow in there, and this is the blue. I like this one. The one right here is actually a little bit bluer, and then these are kind of white blue, and that came from the seeds off of this one. So each pansy has, when it does a flower, I got these at Home Depot, there'll be a seed pod, and I actually collected the seed pods in November, December, and I actually planted the seeds, and they popped up, and I don't see any seed pods now, but usually there'll be a little seed pod that comes out, and you let it dry out until it actually opens on its own. So it's red, white, and blue. I have added some morning glory, moonflower in here. This is the white section, so these are mostly white morning glories. And then the blue, I have blue morning glories, and I haven't got to the red yet. Still working on this, ongoing. Anyway, here's the kind of a overview. This is Easter Sunday, so got a lot of flowers out. Petunias, pansies, and of course the strawberries are doing well. I put down a little bit of fertilizer last week, and we've got a lot of flowers popping out. I'm trying to protect these if we do get a frost. These plants last through the winter uncovered down to 12 degrees, no problem, they survive. But I want to kind of save the blooms, so if it does get below 32, I will run some, put some plastic over it. Russian kale, mustard green going to seed, some spinaches, more Russian kale, and I put some Paris Cos lettuce heads back here. I'm just trying to put them in places where I can stick them just to keep up the. That's also a Paris Cos, so that's a baby, and then that's full grown, ready to pick. Broccoli going to seed, and I'll show you in the back what the seed pod looks like on the broccoli. Got lots of sage flowers. That's a sage plant, but the plant is actually down in here in the middle, and of course the mint trying to take over. And front yard looking good. I've got the I guess compared to some of the neighbors, I got the winter rye that I put down, and it's really, because right now my yard would still be a little brown with the zoysia that's pretty much covers the whole yard, but with that winter rye I get a pretty green yard even starting in January. Okay, nice. That's a nice bunch of petunias. Lots of white ones there, so I have been propagating the white, and I might do a little video on how I'm doing the propagation. I've been testing all these methods you got on YouTube, and they work. So I'm going to be propagating or cloning certain colors that I want to put over in the red, white, and blue section. Alright, I'll be back with you in just a minute. Okay, in the backyard, on the back porch, I have a container with cosmos flowers, and I really like it. I've never grown them before. I like how they're not too spread out. Some of them are just like a pretty decent stalk, and they got a little height on them, and I like the colors. That I might call red, but it's not quite not quite what I want, but I might use this one as a red if I can clone it. I'm not sure. There's some steps to do it, but I've never tried it before. Alright, petunia there. And then here's the lettuce patch. If you did see the last video, the growth is really spurted, and I'm gonna take them in. I'll show you. This is kind of what I set up to keep the lettuce cooler, not cool, but cooler than a little bit cooler than the temperature outside. Today's supposed to get to 80, and the sun's not even like really shining bright. I guess it's gonna be humidity and all that too. So give me a second. I'm gonna cover this up and show you what I got set up to try to keep the lettuce cool. Inside I have little spritzers. So once I get my irrigation all hooked back up, I will, and that's spinach going to seed. Alright, give me a second. I'm going to cover it up and then get back with you. Okay, so with the shade cloth over the little frame, when it got hot yesterday, I basically just sprayed it down with the hose, and it pretty much lowered the temperature from that white temperature gauge. I got it on a little device that it's got a digital readout, and it actually lowered the temperature by 10 degrees. So hopefully that's going to work. I don't want to keep it too wet in there around the lettuce, because I know that promotes bugs and things like that. So or snails, and I actually saw a couple of snails, just tiny ones, and I don't see them doing too much damage. But definitely when you pick the lettuce, we take each leaf off and wash it down, spray it down, make sure there's no bugs or grit. And I've started really mulching around the lettuces to keep that dirt from getting up on the lettuce when it rains and when I water. So there is a collard green. Looks like it has a broccoli, right? But that's actually bolting. Since it's been warm enough, it's bolting, and I'm gonna get seeds off of this. So the seeds on broccoli and collard greens, once it gets to where, here's a whole bunch of them. So looks like a green bean basically. And if you can keep the bugs off, I come around and spray with like the garden hose. I spray these little, there's these little green aphid bugs that love to get on the head of, you see that? So I'll come through sometimes twice a day and spray them off, or I'm gonna come through and end up snipping once I get enough little pods. And this one pod is gonna give me basically enough. So one little pod is enough seed. I only have 4 broccoli plants, so all I need is 4 seeds to germinate, but I'll have plenty. Maybe I'll grow more, see how it works. So the collards, the broccoli, looks like the Swiss chard is now bolting. I don't see any kind of flower, but once I haven't collected seeds off of a Swiss chard, so see how it goes. I don't even know what it looks like. I guess I'd have to watch a YouTube video. Alright, so up to the here's some of the bag area, grow bags. I am gonna do this kind of setup all the way down the fence line because this area gets perfect sun. And this is a mustard green, also bolting. Gonna get to let that go and flower. Chives going on. I got the bunching onions. Haven't really ever been successful with some of these, but I'm trying some different methods this year. Potatoes. That's the potato plant. I actually planted it very low in the bag and then added dirt as the plant grew. So this plant right now is almost 2 foot tall. This is fennel. You can see here, but I was watching some stuff about pests the other day, and fennel and dill, when you let them go to flower, they're supposed to be really good on attracting beneficial bugs. This is some onions. Some more cosmos. That actually, this has been flowering for quite some time because I had it in the tunnel greenhouse, tunnel 1, and it a lot of stuff, as long as I keep it in there and above freezing, above 55, everything thinks it's like June or something. This is chamomile. I've never grown chamomile. It's pretty easy. Some of these things, you put the seeds in and they grow like grass. So I don't know if it's considered weed, but weeds or whatever, but they grow. They're fairly easy to grow. I probably put too many plants in here. I think I got like 3. And then there's another one by itself, just kind of waiting on it to pop up and some time. Okay, so here's I have a bucket with green beans. It's like 3 green bean plants, and I've actually got there's an actual green bean on it. I'll show you another plant that I have that actually, it's in a smaller pot. It's a single plant by itself, and it's got more green beans on it than these 3 do. Here's some sweet pea. Another plant I've never grown. I've seeded. It has feelers and tentacles out come out and they try to grab onto something, so I put this little chicken wire fence in there. I've cleaned out this bed. I had a big tomato plant in here and it just stopped producing, basically because I let it drop below 45 at night to save on power. Talked about that in the last video. This is the same as beefsteak tomatoes. It's actually got tomatoes on it, so it's not, you can't grow these outside this time of year. I mean, it's too early. But if I keep them in this tent, this greenhouse tent, and you keep the temperature above 55 at night, and you got to have a fan or something to cool, because it'll get 100 degrees in there, which would end up being too hot. Some more cosmos that look really good. That's not the color I'm looking for, but my niece Cassie, I had got a cactus from her in November, basically, and she said put it in some rock. I don't know if she'll see this video, but I don't think she meant this. She probably just meant put it out in the dirt with, you know, rocky soil, and it's doing good. So I'm gonna see how that goes. I've never had any cactus before, and I noticed these little things coming out the top now. Those weren't, like, this is the first time I'm actually seeing those. And I found I had this pot was in the other tunnel behind the table, and I wasn't paying attention to it. I was throwing some water on it, but I couldn't see that it was actually growing banana peppers. So I'm gonna kind of give this plant a little TLC and see how it goes. Radishes popping up, this one and that one. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna go over to the other greenhouse. Alright, this is the messy permanent greenhouse that I've got. The fan kicks on when it gets too warm and exhausts out the hot air. Lavenders, and this is a rosemary that I had propagated from this rosemary that I've had for probably 3 years. But you can take these little fresh pieces right here and you can cut them and propagate them. I found that they say to use a dome, and I've done that, and I end up getting lots of, actually it's too much moisture probably I'm doing. But the successful one, which was this one, I actually did right out here, like I put it back behind something and put it in some soil, and didn't let it dry out, but it wasn't soaking wet either. So I got some strawberry plants in here. Actually got, oh wow, so in here it's hot, it's warm enough and doesn't get cold enough at night that I'm actually getting some strawberries. I see a few, just a couple, not a lot, just, you know, just a handful here and there. We'll see how it goes. Lemon balm plants. Lemon balm is good for teas and anxiety. They say mix lemon balm with chamomile and like it makes you like a super thinker. This tomato plant's another beefsteak. It's actually got tomatoes on it too. It's got more than the other one that's in the 7-gallon bag. But this is what I was doing all winter, and the plant I had in here, I don't know what happened. I think it actually got too cold. One night or something, it got too cold in here. I had the door cracked or something, and it basically killed it. So I already had this one going. This is about a 2.5 gallon container. I kind of try to water it from the bottom. This is my lemon cypress. Wow, this thing's actually, I'm gonna put a measurement on this because they say these things will grow 60 feet. Of course, I'm not trying to do that, but I just want to see if I can get a little, like a Christmas tree size, grown in some type of container. And I might have to transplant it again if this is too small. Okay, I'm gonna go over to the tunnel 2 and show you the little babies that I have in there. Okay, this is tunnel 2. This is the vinca, and I've actually had I saw a flower the other day and it was white, and then there's another one right there. You can see the little kind of the flower bud head on it. So they're doing well. I'm gonna let these come up and see what colors they are and then attempt to propagate them. More lettuces. Here's an impatient that is really doing well. Got a celery, Roma tomatoes in the bag. I'm actually going to let these come up, and then I'm going to snip some of the lower leaves down in there. I'm going to snip some of those and fill more dirt in there. Here's the green bean plant that actually has more green beans on it. This literally is a quart, maybe quart and a half, but I got a few green beans. Cool. All right, this is I've got some beefsteak tomato plants, and then up here we've got eggplants. So I want about 6 good eggplants. I've got 2 that are decent size now, and then these are some babies, so we'll see how they progress. And sometimes when it starts getting warm, things start to just kind of jump up. So even in here though, I keep this, I don't let this freeze, but in here it actually might get down to 45. I might let the temperature get down because I'm not really trying to grow vegetables in here. I'm just growing the babies. But even some of these babies like the vinca, that's probably why I have some little issues on the back ones, but they seem to be correcting, except for maybe a couple of them. But these I planted at a later date, and they're doing real well in these bigger 6-packs. These I actually planted in December. I probably lack of nutrition, lack of light, whatever it was. They're just kind of struggling, but I'll try to get them back. So I got some mint plants that I kind of took cuttings and I put the little root stem in. When I initially did this one, it was just a stick. I didn't even have anything flowering, and now that's mint. Mint will take over the world, so it's so easy to kind of propagate that. Here's some Romas that I actually seeded right here. Roma plants, Roma tomato plants. That's a bush tomato. And then some more petunias, cilantro, some more lettuces back there. Another lemon cypress and a cucumber here. Got to keep these watered really well because this container is not meant to. This plant needs to be transplanted, but I can't just put it out because I don't know if it's going to freeze or not. Okay, well, this is an update of what's been going on at the TTT Homestead, and hopefully you enjoyed the video. And I will do some shorter videos on how I do some of this propagation stuff. All right, you guys have a good day. Happy Easter.